Hey, fellow engineers, it's me, Mario. I'm back, for a while at least. So, I made a whole video about tiles, and it's just good to start with the queen of tiles, the mighty Elevation 1, which is by far the strongest tile in the game. It's one that has been called out as being OP, that is overpowered, and that a nerf is necessary to it. I don't agree with people saying that. I think in four-player games there are a lot of ways to work around it and win the game, even if somebody else takes it. So there's that, but it's definitely the most powerful tile of all. There's no way to deny that. So after I made a whole video saying why tiles can be situational and why tiles are probably a bit overvalued still by beginner players, I think that there's no way to deny that Elevation 1, if it's out on the first round, is going to be the first move in pretty much every game of the base game. And if it comes out on round 2, probably the fourth player should play his role, his whole first round, so that the second round, the first move would be to take Elevation 1 and abuse it. So let's see why it's so strong, because it's not like it looks unassuming at first. When I started the game, I actually thought it was not one of the best tiles, mainly because I was overvaluing production, but also because Elevation did look like one of the worst structures. So let's see together why Elevation 1 is that strong. The first reason is that it's very easy, and it actually happens in most of the games Elevation 1 is out on round 1. This tile is going to get used 4 times at least in a game, sometimes even 5, but yeah, I would say 4 times is the average, and it's by far higher than any other tiles pretty much. Sometimes you can use Powerhouse 1 or even Powerhouse 2 4 times in a game, but it's definitely not the average. What I think that the average for the Elevation 1 is being used 4 times. Basically, once you get this one, you can forget about your basic tile, your basic elevation tile. You will just use this one all the time. It's so easy, and it does combo with itself because it's very easy to get it out of your wheel and ready to use it again. So that's, I think, the first reason because of which this style is that strong. All the other reasons I'm gonna list right now, I don't have like a tier of reasons, but I think that the fact that it can be used 4 times is probably the biggest reason it's so strong. Second one is that elevations are a strong structure in Barrage, mainly because if you can build a base in the plains, they can be very, very cheap, and they are by far the cheapest way to unlock income early on in the game. Normally, also, the income you get out of the elevations are pretty good, aside from France, probably, where getting 3 victory points on the first round is not nothing to write home about. For all the other nations, I think it's pretty much always a very strong move to double up on elevations. Um, then I think if you watched my main video about Barrage, I think that in most games it's stronger to build a lot and to produce a few times, a few being anything between 2, 3, and like 5 times in a game, from big dams with a lot of water in them to fulfill bigger contracts and get lots of points than it is to produce just a bit. Of course, this is not true in all games, this is not true for all operatives and countries. You have to read the game, of course, but in general, I would say that building a lot is a strong strategy in Barrage, and Elevation 1 makes it very easy. When you build a lot, normally you build dams and elevation just because it's easier to reserve positions early on, get water into them, and then later on transform that water into points thanks to powerhouses and conduits. But starting with bases and elevation is normally better. So not only this style is good for that reason, but it's also good because it gives you free spins, which makes it way easier to, again, unlock the materials from your wheel and build again. So it plays well in the base pattern, in the base strong pattern of Barrage, I think. So it's pretty good. Another reason it's pretty good is that elevations in general are not time sensitive. Um, you don't have to care too much about the timing because once you get a dam in position, you can just elevate whenever you want. It's not like anybody can steal your elevation. Like people can steal the position for your powerhouse, for your conduits, and for your bases especially, but you can elevate whenever you want. So since you can pick the timing, you're gonna use elevation 1, you can pick the time you can get the spins. So you can really get a lot out of these spins. Another thing that makes it that strong is that it combos really well with a lot of tiles. Of course, if you get other tiles, you can use them more thanks to Elevation 1. In particular, I would say that Base 3, which is the tile that will let you build a base for no engineer cost and no material cost, and Wildcard 3, which gives you a wildcard tile that can be used to build anything and that gives you 3 points for each tile that you get, are particularly strong along with Elevation 1, but they are just overall pretty good tiles, I would say. But in general, a lot of tiles can be better thanks to Elevation 1 just because you can use them more, and using tiles more is the main reason to make them worth it. Because you invest a lot in getting a tile, like 2 engineers and 5 coins, especially early on, but even later on, is a steep cost to pay. So you really want to use these tile a lot to make them worth it. And with Elevation 1, it's easier to get them back a lot of times. I think that pretty much sums up why Elevation 1 is that strong. I'm sure I might be missing some small stuff here and there, but I would say that these are the main reasons. So you can use it a lot, normally 4 times, sometimes even 5. Um, you don't have to care about the timing, so you can get the spins whenever you want. It plays well in the main strategy, I would say, that is in Barrage, which is building a lot, and it combos pretty well with other tiles. I think for these 4 reasons alone, this tile is just better. So if you haven't tried it out yet, maybe because you're a real beginner, because you're going to read a lot of threads on BGG saying that this style is OP, try it out. Among the weaknesses, if we can call them weaknesses, there's the reason that bases in the plane normally go fast. Players are gonna get them real quick in competitive games. So you can either be happy building in a lower spot knowing you won't get much water and using it just to unlock income and double elevate it, or you can try to go in the hills. It's something that I've done a few times, and at that point you will try to use elevation 1 5 times. You will just elevate once in the first round and you will just try to use it each and every round from that point on. Or you have to buy elevation 1, use 2 engineers to purchase coins, to retrieve coins, I would say, and then hopefully there's still a decent upper spot in the plains, and at that point you can build a base there and elevate. It's not always easy to do that, and you're gonna waste 2 more engineers on top of the 2 engineers you already used to get the tile. So that balances out a bit, but still, elevation 1 is just that strong that you're gonna do that without any problem. So I would say that's it. It's probably one of the longest videos about tiles, since there are a lot of reasons this tile is just the best one. Future videos are probably going to be faster. Alright, I'm done. Mare's out. See you next time.